Observational research is the systematic process of recording the behavioral patterns of people, objects, and occurrence without questioning them. A market researcher using the observational technique witnesses and records information as events occur or compiles evidence from records of past events. Observational research relies on people watching people, people watching an activity, or machines watching people. This might sound or seem a little bit invasive, but if you think about it, and we go back to segmentation, the reason we use behavioral segmentation is to figure out how do people interact with things? How do they actually do stuff? And thereby, when we are creating new products or designing better ways to communicate, we want to make sure it's in line with how people actually do stuff. So people watching people. Imagine you are at a shopping mall and you're conducting market research and you want to see when people enter the shopping mall, what is their first reaction? Where are they looking? What are they seeing? But more importantly, where are they going? Do most customers walk into a shopping mall and head towards the nearest grocery store or the food court? And based on that, observational research, you can design better shopping malls, designed to keep people in there for a little bit longer so they can potentially buy more stuff, but also then start putting businesses together which will complement the overall user experience. People watching an activity. This could be potentially how people use particular products. Think about the company Airbnb. Now, when the website for Airbnb was first designed, it was designed on the basis of how the founders of the company thought people were going to use the product. When they went in and actually had a chat with their customers and saw how the customers actually used their product, they realized they had the whole thing completely wrong. And what the founders of Airbnb thought was really easy, their customers actually found it really difficult. By watching people and seeing how they do what they do, you're able to create much better systems, much better processes, create not only good products, but experiences which match your customers' requirements. Mystery shoppers are researchers sent to an organization to evaluate their salespeople's courtesy, knowledge, and helpfulness. As marketers conducting research, we can ask our customers about how they feel, about how satisfied they are, about even how the service was overall. However, we can also send people in as mystery shoppers to basically go through the same process our customers go through. With the difference being, because these people have a marketing background, they can kind of go deeper and ask specific questions to see just how responsive or how helpful the staff at a particular store might be. The other thing to consider, behavioral targeting. So behavioral targeting combines a consumer's online activity with psychographic and demographic profiles compiled in the database. What this basically means is when it comes to behavioral targeting, marketers use various methods, in particular website user information, to strengthen advertisement campaigns. The technique involves gathering data from a variety of sources about potential customers' online browsing and shopping behavior. Now, what we're trying to do is get away from just purely demographically profiling people, but instead looking at not just the websites people are on, but what are they clicking on? And what are they interacting more with? Have you guys ever noticed that you're looking at a particular product? Maybe a new couch, maybe a holiday overseas. And then you go to another website, completely not related to the website you just came from. And all of a sudden, there are adverts pretty much talking about what you were searching about. So that right there is behavioral targeting, looking at people's online activities to gather primary data in real time and then start putting through specific ads, which allows us, the organization, to target our potential consumers better. Ethnographic research. It's the study of human behavior in its natural context. Involves observations of behavior as well as physical settings. Ethnographic is considered as a branch of anthropology that involves trying to understand how people live their lives. A good example of this kind of research in today's context would be Gogglebox. This is where you're watching other people watching television, and you're looking at how they're reacting, when they're reacting, and what in particular are they reacting to. The idea is we're getting a really, really deep and meaningful understanding of not only people, but how they really work, which is quite interesting and allows us to observe behavior for a particular person or group of people who have obviously participated in the program, potentially not only in their homes, but also workplace. Like imagine looking at how people behave when they're in their cars. For me, for example, I get into my car, the first thing I do is I put my seatbelt on. I don't often check the mirrors to see if they're perfectly positioned. Maybe by doing this kind of research, if we were a car manufacturer and we were trying to improve the safety of our vehicles, we could see, do other people behave the same? In which case, do we need to prompt people to check their mirrors prior to proceeding or adjusting their seats? Or do we need to remind people to have their seatbelts on in the first place? The next method is experiments, and in particular, causal design. This involves altering one or more variables and observing the effects of these alterations on another variable. Imagine we have two products. They're basically the same, with one minor difference. And what we're looking at is, with this minor difference, does that make a difference to how our consumers are interacting with the product? At the end of the day, what we want to discover is, does the customer's experience, as well as the performance of the product or the perceived value of the product, change by altering or making these changes? And we will do a series of experiments until we have found a combination for our product which works best for the people we're trying to serve. This is done quite a bit in websites in particular. If you think about it, Netflix, if you guys are ever watching Netflix and as you're scrolling through the different options, you may notice the picture for the TV series or movie on your Netflix might be different for your friend or for your family member. This is an example of where Netflix does causal experiments to see which picture are you going to be more attracted to. Is it something brighter? Is it something lighter? Is it something more exciting? Is it something more mysterious? And Netflix will continue to change their thumbnail pictures until they find a combination which works well for you. And the last primary data collection method we're looking at is mobile research. Here, techniques include location-based surveys, invitations, product scanning, QR codes, video and image upload, as well as geofencing. By geofencing in particular, we can look at very specific areas, whether it's northern suburbs, eastern suburbs, western suburbs, or perhaps the CBD itself. We can start to target specific areas to see what people do, how they do, when they do, and thereby have a better understanding of people's behavior.